Action!
I got scared. Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're
the Ghouls Next Door. And this is episode 100!
That's why we have 2 balloons.
Celebrate.
It makes sense. Because
Celebrate.
it started with one of us, and then there are 2 of us, and now we have a podcast. Is this the dance?
This is the dance we're doing for Celebrate.
Yeah.
Welcome to our party, guys. Welcome to the Ghouls party.
2
we
balloons
got cool
for
media
you
analysis
parties.
glasses on my face now.
There's a doll here. I hate it.
That's Annabelle. We also have Ed and Lorraine Warren that I can bring in. So he is Ed Warren. And this is Lorraine Warren.
Cool.
And they're creepy dolls that can hang out with us, I guess.
I remember the day they arrived. You had texted me, Kat, guess what I brought home? And I said, what? Thinking it was like something fun. And you were like,
It was something fun.
I got all these dolls from my family. And I was like, excuse me? Be gentle with them. They're old. I'm filled with ghosts.
Okay. So, episode 100. We've been doing this for a very long time.
We're really old now.
We're ancient.
We're wearing all this makeup to hide our old.
Yeah, we don't want people to know.
It's been like 3 years.
So we had an original plan for this episode
Yeah.
that was more cohesive than what's happening right now, like my doll demonstration. And it was that we were gonna revamp and, give it another shot for our first episode, which was about clowns.
Yes.
And is awful.
Yeah, I didn't. So it's really funny because I remember loving this episode.
Yeah.
I thought we were so funny. I thought we were so smart.
Yeah.
And then we went back and listened to it. And I think 90% of it, I was screaming. Like, it because I just wouldn't stop talking over you.
Yeah. There's definitely, never a time when one of us is talking only. We just trying to, word vomit all of our feelings out. And it's nonsense. I'm super harsh to the clown community. I was a hater. And not because I'm afraid of them, just because I'm a jerk. So it was it wasn't even a good reason. And so we wanted, a redemption arc.
Yeah, all right, we need to make this better.
But then COVID-19, coronavirus, everyone's stay at home, stay safe, and that's what we definitely want everyone to be doing, right? So it became a little more complicated because a part of the element of the clowns was that we were going to interview clowns. And we are in communication with a few, so we're hoping to, in the future, get that
collective
interview. Because we want to get that to be... to really fill out the episode, because that was what we were missing in that first episode, was the point of view and the feelings of that community. So, so in the future we will do a redemption arc of clowns.
Yeah.
We did watch a great film for it, so we are super pumped. And we've done research, and the first episode has been removed from the internet because it should be illegal to listen to it. And it pains me to think that we've been around for over 2 years and that people had been listening to that episode, not knowing what we are and what we've become, and possibly being deterred from the rest of us. It's good for us to listen to know that we've grown, but you guys do not need to listen to it.
You don't need to
don't.
experience it.
So just wait for the redemption episode where we'll tell you all the good parts. From there, we'll educate you on why clowns are scary.
Yeah, because I remember us, having some facts, some decent facts that were smart, but we didn't know how to say them.
Yeah.
We had them written down. We'd done research, but we didn't know how to say words yet. I'd never listened to a podcast other than, while you were listening to one, I was also there.
Yeah.
Catching the, gist of 10 minutes of whatever was happening where I did not understand that one, maybe we don't talk at the same time.
Yeah.
Through
so that people can listen.
Yeah. Like you say words, then stop. I say words.
Stop. And then I respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say...
listening to each other.
Yes. You say words, I listen. Take the pause. Respond. Because that's what you're supposed to do with words that you say. And I'm not going to act like I'm the queen of words, because also a lot of the clips and fun that you're going to hear is me being something with words that I don't know if they make sense. I have my own language, apparently, but I embrace it. I feel like it's what makes me unique. It's what they come for. It's like part of the appeal of the Ghouls.
Yeah.
Is that I speak nonsense, but somehow make smart points.
Exactly. This is how it works. Make smart points.
And then we have these gags that we do that are really hilarious.
Yeah.
Because anything for comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to take this time to just kind of recollect and remember what we have done for 100 episodes, what we've learned from it, our favorite parts.
Yeah.
And so you can join us in hearing those things. And so if there are episodes that you missed, you'll see like references to them. So if you're like, that's funny, I want to go and learn about that, you can, because we'll tell you where you can find them.
Exactly.
Not all of them are on YouTube because we just started doing that. That's one thing we learned.
Yeah. We dressed up, but we were not for anything.
Nope.
It was just like us looking at each other.
Yeah, I looked in the folder and it was up through episode 35. We would dress up to take pictures because that was like the album art was really for each episode. So there's like pictures of you as Edgar Allan Poe.
Yep, that was a good one.
One of the best. Us as clowns for first episode.
Us which is me just
witches,
with lipstick.
Which is bad. Yeah.
I'm a clown.
The witches was just like weird things on our head that we pretended were hats.
Yeah. Hats on a budget.
Yeah, and then, but we weren't being video recorded, just audio, even though we...
Poor audio.
Yeah, poor audio, terrible audio. And now we do YouTube, so
yeah,
that's happening. Yeah, I will say the first script for Clowns...
Episode 1.
Is pretty bad. There is no script. It
Yeah.
really is just kind of like, maybe we talk about this.
It was like clue to trigger thought as it's happening that did not correctly make thoughts happen.
Yeah.
It was like, maybe we talk about this now.
Yeah, and no length of time. Like, there was no distinction of how long we would dwell on a topic.
So
we
3
also
hours?
covered 3 films, and you'll never hear the third thing because there was no time. We talked for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I had to edit it down to, like, an hour and 15 or something. It was crazy. Yeah. It says, Cat Talks Clown Histories. I don't know. We talk about it for a while, question mark.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Gabe summarizes it. Done. That's how it works. Yeah. So we're just going to pal around and share some things. So I wanted to kind of start I actually kind of want to start with the worst episodes.
Okay.
Because I think because we learned from them.
Yes, we did.
Like, there's reasons why they're the worst and why we plan to make them better in the future. So, of course, the first one was Clowns.
Yes.
Because it was just noise and nonsense, and we laughed at each other far too much. We weren't even that funny.
I think if anything of this 100 episodes that I've learned, it's that we find each other hilarious.
Yeah.
Does anyone else? I don't know.
Our
People
live
still
shows,
like us.
people seem to laugh along with us.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
They think we're funny.
So I think Clowns is awful. Just because we didn't know what we were doing, and that's fine, so we had that excuse. Number 2 was also pretty bad. It was Ghost Stories, which is also removed from the internet, and it had a lot of personal information about us.
Yeah, I like it because of that, because it's like, I want everyone to know my stuff.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's probably not good, because, like, if one day, I'm sure somebody's, like, saved it. For when we go get famous now.
And then they'll reveal.
They'll be like, I have your secrets. Yeah. Your secret episode that you didn't want anyone to know about.
Yeah.
Why'd you put it on the internet then?
We didn't think this would happen.
It's basically just us talking to our moms and telling everybody our entire life story.
There's no content,
There was
really.
no history or film
I don't
analysis,
remember
really.
what
It
we
was just
watched.
us talking about it.
I don't remember what part of that was ghost stories, to be honest.
We did the Twitter guy.
Oh, Adam Ellis.
Yeah, Dear David.
Oh, that is good. I do remember that. I was like, we're so cool because we're doing a Twitter scary story.
Yeah.
So it's different.
I will say, to show how much we've grown, I was looking for Facebook stuff, and our first episode, I had been out, like, at a bar with our friend Sierra, and came home.
Yeah.
We did our episode, which was 2 hours long,
Yes.
and I had gotten there at, like, 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we went out again
Yeah.
after the episode
For
to
dollar
drink
drinks.
more.
Dollar
This
drinks
had to
and
have
dancing.
this had to have been a Thursday.
Yeah.
So, young us.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But we cherish it now because we
Yeah.
can't go outside.
And the best is the text from the next day, which is me saying I wish I was dead. Because of what
drank
happened
more.
that night.
Drank way much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, also thinking she's dead. So we learned. I'd say the number 3 worst episode that we've done is our children episode, which is also missing. It's gone. There's no way. It is like 15 minutes of us doing children voices.
Yeah, it's
as
really
a part of
bad.
a gag for some reason.
But, like,
And it went on way too long.
it was way too much. And then it's like, it was just painful to listen to because we're like, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is just annoying. No one asked for this. No one wants
Why are
it.
we
We
doing
probably said good things after, but the first intro part was like, no one is staying
Yeah.
for the better part because that was the worst.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
also the content itself was pretty heavy, and it wasn't quite where we got to the point where we can handle heavy topics in a really
Yeah.
smooth way, where we have covered some pretty significant topics
Yeah.
that have really drained our emotions and really tested us, but we felt very passionate about. And that one was like, it was about children who have murdered or who are kind of villains. And so that, like, talking about Children of Corn was fun, but, like, doing that was just, like, awful. And so it just turned out, like, it was just sad. It was a sad time, and there was no way to make that fun. So we
Yeah.
actually had redeemed ourselves with a children episode, and that was our live show. And I would say that's, like, our best show.
Yeah.
Like, live show that we've ever had.
100%.
It was packed house. It was for the Respect Women's Podcast Festival run by the Black Tribbles, and it was phenomenal. There were so many people there, and there was children, and that was so fun. So there's so many parents who were like,
Yeah.
yep, I get that.
That is why I'm scared of children. That makes sense.
Yeah, we have so many, like, pictures with these kids, and, like, it was super exciting, and we definitely approached it differently and talked more about, like, the roles that children play in horror as opposed to, like, real world kids that are scary. Yeah.
We started to get wicked smart.
Yeah, which brings us to favorite episodes.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Guys, so this is like basically, okay, any 90s and early 2000s friends. Your like favorite show, it's been a full season. And they're like, do you remember the before this part of the season? Let's watch clips of every moment that we've seen already. You're welcome.
Yeah. I wanted to start with, I think one of our best series as a whole was the
ironically.
Isolation series.
Yeah.
It's funny because, exactly, ironic because we're isolated right now. We're stuck inside. We have not been outside for over 2 weeks.
Yeah. Except for to like take the trash out.
And
then
sit
we're
in
just
our
like,
back
sweet
patio.
air.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, you guys remember Places?
What's outside?
You remember Going?
Going?
You remember Go?
What's
you
going?
You go? Ironically, I think that's one of our best. And
Guys,
so we
we're
have
singing.
shared... I have shared our Isolation Inside episode because, like,
Topical.
and so, like, so you can be equipped for how you're supposed to handle your emotions when you're trapped inside. So we definitely need it. But there are 2 episodes from that series that are, like, definitely quintessential, like, ghouls listening, because it's just, like, we're wild. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't know what we were on that day. So one is our Isolation Wilderness. So if you're unfamiliar with our Isolation series, it was when we decided to kind of talk about what you do and what happens to people and the horrors around being isolated in different places.
Yeah.
So it ranged from underground,
Yeah.
underwater, inside, wilderness, space.
Yep. Although I will say, Gabe, you have not tried to physically remove a door from its hinges.
I have not tried to do that. Which is
So I'm impressed, and also now I doubt your integrity on your stories.
I did remove a door from its hinges immediately upon
Straight to
realizing
cannibalism.
that I could not get out. The knob is broken. We can't get out. And, like, she's just like, my friend's like, just wait for my roommates to get home. And I was like, or, hear me out. I'm fine. I'm breaking it down. So that's how I feel when I'm trapped in places. But I'm not really trapped. This is my house, so it's fine. And it was expected more or less. So in our isolation wilderness episode, we had a few conversations that I think were very interesting. I don't even know where to start, Kat.
We're just really funny, though. That's my favorite episode of all time. I didn't know it was until we listened to the clips, and I was like, when did we get hilarious? I know we've been funny, but, like, what?
So one of the parts was that we were talking about the horrors of the real animals that are dangerous. So, like, bears are very rarely dangerous.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me tell you about real horrors. And so I talked about animals, and here is one of them. And if you find the golden poison dart frog, it is particularly deadly, possessing enough poison to kill up to 20 humans or 100 mice.
So you want to find that one because that one's the prize, and then you trade that one into the people who have frogs, and then you win $1 million because it's gold.
No, it's not
It's
gold.
the golden one.
You can't touch it.
It is the prize frog.
19 others are dead.
That one is the prince.
No, it's not the prince. I'm telling people to go get this. It's dangerous.
So I'm kidding. I know.
That's good. I'm glad that you knew at the end. I thought that was wrong.
That's the prize. You kiss it, you win.
Yeah, because Kat was telling people like frogs.
It's normal. That's what you're supposed to
do. When you're trapped in the So another small animal that you wouldn't imagine could kill you, but definitely 100% could, is the poison dart frog.
Okay.
These are one of the most...
Don't kiss it.
No. No.
There's no prince.
No, there is
Just
no
death.
prince. You know what? You might think
One
that there's
kiss
a prince.
is all it takes.
And that's honestly all the...
Oh, fuck it.
You're just seeing a prince because you're delirious and you die. So maybe...
Yeah, just one kiss is all it takes.
That's
all it takes for one of
you
think love than death.
Yes.
Surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. This also happened. Oh, here's delirium. You might be thinking to yourself, did they have shrooms before this episode?
Maybe.
Or mayhaps they partook on the delicacy that is the poison dart frog.
Licked him. Give him a real big kiss. If I'm the golden one, I thought I won.
Gave him a big smooch. Did not get a prince.
She's not my husband.
Are continuing to make this podcast out of delirium. So that was fun.
That's wild. I've always been super normal. God,
but the
this is why we
other
didn't
part
watch that movie.
Of this episode is good is the film that we watched because it was awful and I was very mad. I spent most of this episode being very mad at that movie.
Okay, guess what?
What?
I have a pretty good idea.
Do you have a good idea about what this guy was doing? So angry. Like, she finally, throws a fit because they go because they're supposed to be going to this lake. It's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be memorable. He's going to propose to her. It's this big, amazing situation. And then they, get through the trees, and guess what they find? More trees! Because he's hella lost. Because he didn't have a map. And he's never been there before. And he thinks somehow his, penis will lead the way. What are you doing?
Tell me, penis.
Which way?
Where do we
Which
go?
way is north? I'll just point it, and I'll just feel for it. I hated that man. He was awful.
Penis,
He
which way is
had an
north?
idea, and it was bad.
You had a pretty good idea.
The
Means
other
we're cool.
one is
Space.
space. There's a few good ones for space, but this is the best. So we found, mostly in this isolation episode, we found that I have claustrophobia.
Yes.
And the idea of being trapped anywhere puts me in, immediately at a 10. I have to go and I have to fix this and I can't be here anymore. I'm sorry, I have to go.
Yeah. And I'm cool unless it's underwater.
Yes.
I'm cool at all others.
But you
I'm
wouldn't
like,
get there,
it's fine.
so.
Yeah, I know I don't go outside, so this is my dream.
This is if Gabe were trapped in space and how I'm ill-equipped.
A lot of space.
Yeah,
We're not the calm. I'm kind of calm, but you're not the calm one, Gabe.
Oh, no,
you don't
murder.
get to go.
There's no way. Could you imagine
don't
if I
get
was
to
next to
go.
someone in space and they were chewing really loudly?
You
Like, hey, can you
murder.
help me? There's a latch over here. I can't figure. Bye. What happened to Jim? He was a pilot of ours. You know what? Who's up for learning how to pilot? Who's up for getting their pilot's license? Because here we go.
And you know, fun fact: in space, there's no one's coming back after Jim. There's no second Jim.
Maybe there's a
You
manual.
have to be Jim now.
You're the new Jim.
Karen.
The new Jim. Look at me. I'm the Jim now.
That was good.
Yeah.
I
That was a
enjoyed
good
the
one.
reenactment.
Yeah. That was like the best skit I've ever done in my life.
I was very happy
brilliant.
with it. I'm not gonna lie. It was probably my favorite. Probably one of my favorite things you've ever said to me in your existence.
Yeah. Other favorite episodes, right? So there's like a diversity in reasons why they're favorites.
Yeah.
So like isolation series is that we were kind of loopy. We were educational, but we were really fun. We were
Yeah,
very
it was
funny.
like us being smart, but like also losing our minds.
But other episodes, I think, like for me, one of my favorites is our found footage episode, which I
Yeah.
think doesn't get a lot of love because it's crazy. I love found footage horror films. Like I'm a
Same.
sucker for them, especially because like and we've talked about this before that those are actually kind of like scarier for me. Like I totally just like get excited about buying into the reality of what's on screen. And so if you're telling me like you're making an excuse for there to be a camera and a shot,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna believe you. I'm like, okay, this is
filming
real.
Non-stop for this reason. 100%.
Yeah, this is real. Something's going on. And so I can suspend disbelief and just, like, buy into it. And so, like, when crazy things happen on screen, like, Paranormal Activity, like, people laugh about it now. But I was super psyched when that came out. And I remember being in theaters, and at the end, when all that stuff was going down, like, being literally on the edge of my... Like, I was, stand-sitting in my seat. Like, my feet were on the chair.
Like that one photo of you where you're like...
Yeah, just like crazy.
Yeah.
Excited for what was going on screen. And a lot of the times for things like that, if there's like weird distorted sounds or visuals, that my like eyes will tear up because it's just like a reaction for my body to be afraid. So I love found footage. And so my love of found footage really comes through in that. But my favorite part of found footage is just our retelling of the entire Paranormal Activity franchise.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because it's absolute chaos.
We're just like the Charlie Day meme.
Yeah.
Where they have all the pins,
So the pins
on the wall. We're like, this connects to this and it's fine.
Yeah, and essentially because the whole theory is that, like, number one was fine.
Yeah.
It had lore, it had backstory, it made sense in its own little world, and then someone made number two without ever really paying attention to what number one was doing, and it totally undermined everything that happened in one. So then they spent at movies 3 through like 7 trying to fix the problem that is number 2.
They're like,
try to
we can
make them
explain it.
exist in the
It's
same
okay.
world.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. And also like trying to understand why this demon Toby, which is the most demon name ever, can like exist in this world and what its motives are.
Yeah.
Like what it's trying to do, because it does a really bad job of it. So if you just want to hear me like go down like this road of like insanity, that one is like
That was my second favorite skit you do.
with that
About
one.
Tobathy and how Cthulhu is like, or someone's giving him crap.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
I think Tobathy just wants to be friends with these little girls. And he just wants to, like, play tea time with them.
But-
And then his boss is, like, breathing down his neck and is like, you need a sacrifice. He's like, fine. Then he goes to these girls. He's like, listen, I talked to my boss. He says, I need you to tell me that you're going to have a boy. And then the girl's like, no, I don't want to play with you anymore because that's weird, Topathy. And then she runs away. And then he's like, damn it. And he goes tells his boss. And he's like, you better man up and do what you got to do. And then he does a spooky thing. And then later he's like, I'm really sorry I had to do that. Listen, they were watching me.
Yeah,
There's an evaluation.
I'm a cool guy, I swear, like...
My name is Toby and I am a demon.
I have to live up to my demon things.
So why
Abelam's like just like really on my back about this. I have to prove myself as a real demon. My name is Toby,
Beelzebub just
which
picks on
people
me
just
in the
don't take
locker room.
seriously. Lucifer over there is just laughing at me all the time.
The holidays are super awkward.
Yeah.
Everyone else has their sacrifices, like with them, and then here I am, and I have, like teddy bears.
All I'm saying is, there's so many of these skits where I'm like, why? Okay, so from a Bim Bam, and honestly a lot of things where there's this little animation, guys.
Yeah.
I want those to exist for those because they're so just wild. They're just like, what is happening? What are the words you're saying? Because it's just these random skits that we just decide are happening.
Yeah.
And we're just going to keep going with it because friends.
Yeah.
You don't let your friend hang with the skit. You need to keep the skit going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not real friends and you should break up.
Okay. Hot take from Kat.
But all I'm saying is that there needs,
What all you saying is
there needs to be
Kat's catchphase.
an animation
Yeah.
of these
that.
events because it would be so funny. Ugh.
Yeah.
Someone love us enough to do this.
Yeah. There's quite. I mean, even like the Hatch one. That would be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am Jim now.
Yeah. They do that for My Favorite Murder too. People make little animations.
It'd
Yeah.
just be so funny.
Kat, what is one of your favorite episodes? It doesn't have to be what I listed because these are kind of like mine. So.
I didn't know Wilderness was my favorite until we re-listened to it, and I was just
Yeah.
like, what was I doing? This is great. I also very much enjoy our recent ones. I feel like have been really fun. Even though they're not like fun and old, so like we get to reminisce. They're
Yeah.
like yesterday.
Yeah. So they don't count.
Yeah. I really just liked last year of this, you know what I mean? Like a year ago today.
Yeah.
I feel like we really hit our stride and were just really funny. And like went from being totally burnt out to just getting our stuff together.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how we did it. Like we were literally like, I don't know, Gabe Cat moment.
Yeah.
Should we keep do?
We go still? And I had I remember approaching and being like, I want us to be weekly now. And you were like, oh.
2 weeks is a lot. But then I was also like, all right, if we do it weekly though, then I won't forget how to do it in the week in between because my brain doesn't work. So I'd be like, oh yeah, that's still a thing I know how to do.
Yeah.
Or we take a month off and then I just totally forget what everything is.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the first episode of our international series because
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm
Our,
doing.
like, foreign heart.
It hurts.
Yeah. And it's funny because we going weekly, like people are always asking like, how many films do you watch? And it's like we average like 2 films a week.
Yeah.
Like in order to like comment and talk, even if we've seen the film previously,
we usually rewatch
them
it
so that we can like review them properly and formulate like our opinions when we rewatch them with our media analysis glasses on, because a lot of the times you watch the first time and you're just having fun.
Yeah, like I watched it when I was 16 and I thought life was still fun and nice.
Yeah.
And then we watch them as adult humans and we're like, wow.
Like, oh boy, I hate that. I hate that
Lots
so
of the 90s and early 2000s films don't age well.
We tried to watch Scream, not Scream, Scary Movie 2.
Yes.
We lasted all of like 5 minutes.
Oh, it's so offensive.
It was so gross. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Like our stomachs hurt because it was gross. It was so disgusting. It's just a lot
It's
of
just
like
a lot of body
fluids.
humor.
Yeah, and just like, and it's also awful. It's not a good like, and that was kind of like the 90s was that time where we're like, we're making fun of everyone, so it's
Cringy,
fine.
so it's fine.
But yeah, I remember we were like, yeah, I remember liking this movie as a young person, and then we were watching, we're like, oh god.
Yeah.
I can't.
But hopefully we age better.
Yeah.
I think our clowns episode, bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
We're growing.
Yeah.
It's it's about the journey.
Yeah.
It's about friendship. It's about the prized yellow
Golden frog.
frog that you lick and then die
No.
in exchange for $1 million.
I think, like, I would say when we kind of started to change up was around our second, like, Halloween time. So it was, like, our second October. Because we premiered in October of 2017.
Yes.
So then in 2018, it was like our 1 year. We're like, all right, we're going to do it. And we decided to dedicate October to be like our learning time, like where we give credit to people and things that have influenced the genre. Yeah. So we tackled, which Kat was looking through our old text, and apparently I was like really striving for H.P. Lovecraft to be an episode like from like day one.
It was like our second episode.
I was
you
like,
wanted it to be H.P.
It's
Lovecraft.
like H.P. Lovecraft now. H.P. And she's just like, stop trying to make Howard Phillip happen. It's not gonna happen. And then we finally did it with Edgar Allan Poe, Mary Shelley, like our whole series, and we even did Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. It's such a wonderful series. It's very cute.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be like smart and like cute.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, oh,
just very appreciative.
Research.
Like Edgar Allan Poe, we just realized that he's a dick, and we spent a lot of that being kind of sad. He was awful, which is funny. And then Mary Shelley is just us fangirling about this like goth queen that she is with her ghost sex parties and also like her sadness, her tragedies. And then H.P. Lovecraft, which was like wild.
Yeah, he was just racist and mean.
Yeah, but like his like the creatures itself, he's just so peculiar.
Yeah,
like you couldn't write that. Like the fact that like he's peculiar in himself, and then he made those things, and you're like, okay, you know what, I get it.
He was like, sense. All right, guys, stay with me. Bugs,
bugs, bats, fish,
tentacles,
and insects.
Put them all
together. Yeah.
Monsters now.
There's a really crazy skit that I just, not a skit, reaction from Kat that I wanted to put in here. All right, ready?
No.
Okay.
Tell me about it, Stud.
You got it. In late August 1839, Daniel, a young man, why does that mean to you? Why is 1839 so delicious? That was a good year.
Saying words so nice.
Words so your ears.
You're like, oh,
named Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me more.
He's super dead. 1839.
Yeah.
And then there's it.
I was like, can you just say different words?
You were just talking all sultry like, and I was like, I'm gonna contribute to this by also talking sultry like, and then that's what I did.
Aroused by the word in.
Jesus Christ, Kate.
Alright, here we go. So
say other words, please.
I'm afraid.
No.
I don't know what I might say that'll trigger you.
So it's just this oddball moments of like reacting to each other, and I will say, based on like one of my favorite like constant reviews that we get, like whenever we talk to people, and they talk to us about what they enjoy or what they get from our podcast, generally is like our like interaction, like our chemistry, like
or
people just love it.
Say ridiculous things to each other and then die laughing because we find each other hilarious.
Yes. And I also think it's like the way that we can kind of roll with each other's punches.
Yeah.
And like pick up where like we finish each other's sentences or say sentences at the same time.
Yes.
Quite often that it's kind of scary. And
We're
so
twins.
yeah, it's a little weird. So there are times when like, I'll be in the middle of a sentence, we have scripts, and I'll like just totally be lost. And then Kat will pick it up and I'm like, yes, here I am.
That was
or
my
vice
thought that I
versa.
wrote down, and you're there. Excellent.
Excellent. Or just like, yeah, exactly like where we yes and each other, right?
Yeah.
Like one of us will be like, here's a skit. And then we're like, okay, bop.
We're going with it. I don't care where it lands.
Yeah.
It's weird, whatever.
We think it's great.
Yeah.
And
You
we'll
probably
be
do,
in
otherwise
stitches.
you wouldn't have been here this whole time.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know what you're
100
doing.
episodes. And I mean, wow, if you started with us at the beginning and stayed along for the ride. Because honestly, I would go monstrous women and stuff forward.
Yeah.
Or what is it? New year, new me,
Yeah.
onward.
Yeah.
And then not before. Except
Well, before
for
had
writers. You're right.
I think so. The writers and like our Christmas time was good.
Yeah.
November was when we hung out with the Tribbles, which
Yeah.
is like a weird mix. Like we didn't know what we were gonna do.
Okay. Revise.
Okay.
September
Yeah.
of that year forward.
Yes.
Everything before that, shh. No, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, found footage is before that. M. Night Shyamalan.
M.
which
Night
is where-
Shyamalan was fun.
I love M. Night because we figured him out. And
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
It was good.
Like, you know, and that was exciting. And that was one of the things where I was like, wow, this podcast, like, lets us do that.
Yeah.
Like, lets us figure things out.
I'm just like, well, I had a degree and I can use that.
Yeah.
I never get to do that. That's crazy.
Another thing I want to highlight is our favorite guests.
Yes.
So
We had people.
we have guests on occasionally on the Ghouls. When we first started, I had this idea and dream that every third episode would be a guest. So the first guest we ever had was Sierra.
Yep.
who
Whose
was the
birthday was
reason-
recently.
Yes,
so happy birthday.
But she was the reason why we were trashed the night of our first episode.
Most of that year
Oh, yeah.
was our friendship. Was our friendship with her.
Thanks. And we talked about nightmares, which we'll redo because it was not great. There's a lot of us all giggling. But that one was fun, and we talked about the murder fountain
Yep.
because of Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we had Jeff to talk about horror video games,
Yep.
which was great. We had our friend Dom to talk about tattoos in
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, which is why we have Friday the 13th.
Mine's covered, but
We
it's
got our,
also
our
here.
tattoos on Friday the 13th. And then we did Sergio with horror movie music scores.
Yep.
And talked about Suspiria, which that's one of my highlights, mostly because during the time when we were all hanging out and watching that ridiculous film,
Yeah, it was the time.
that was the time when we started laughing and talking about Saw 9.
Yeah.
We brought it up.
It was the birth of Saw 9.
And we were like, this is so crazy. This is a crazy film. What if
like-
we took it seriously?
like, what if?
Yeah, and then we were like, whatever. And then later I was like, Sergio, but like, what if though?
What if
And
Saw
then
9?
we made it. Saw 9, which just has like, it's just so ridiculous.
The doll from the other movies appears on the screen, but this time, he's sexier. We know he's sexier because he's covered in sex webs.
Hello, Becky. Would you like to play a game?
Of course, yes, 100%. Game, please.
We took a script that already existed by a bot.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Twitter times.
And we just took it very seriously. And that kind of just birthed the humor and the style in which we create the rest of our horror films,
Yeah.
too. So we have 3 short films now.
Yeah, we did
and
it.
we're aiming to create more once we can go outside. But, and we have scripts and things like that ready. But that was like the first one and where we thought like we could be multimedia.
Yeah.
And I think like we previously to that had not had that idea.
You could hear our voices. You could see our faces.
Yeah.
You could meet us in person.
Yes, yeah.
There's so many options.
Yeah, our first live show was Cryptids.
Yeah. No, it
Urban
was
Legends.
Urban Legends, and was so early in our career that I still to this day I'm like, why did they let us?
Yeah, it was
We
like,
did not know what we were doing
I
yet.
believe it was episode 19,
Yeah.
and I just like applied, and they were like, yeah, and we were like, what? We made Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
We made stickers, and people really showed up, and that was like people we didn't know, which was cool. And it was fun. People enjoyed it. The people. My highlight for that was that we reference the roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
Of love. because there's like a urban legend that there's a scream in it that's like someone being murdered.
Yeah.
And so after our episode, like when we were done and we were wrapping and they were getting ready for the next one, the DJ, the person who was in charge, played that song over the speakers while we were like meeting people. I was like, oh my god, like they
were
loved it.
Yeah.
The second one we did was alien imposters.
Yes, and you made that couple really uncomfortable, and it was great.
I was like, what is it? Like you're warming up the audience, like you're doing audience work, or whatever it is. And so we were like talking about like, how would you know that your best friend or your person was an imposter? Like, what weird, quirky thing do they do that an alien wouldn't think to do? Like, for me, it was like, if I don't spill food on myself when I'm eating, odds are it's an alien.
I don't remember what I said.
I don't remember either.
But, if I went downstairs
if you went downstairs, like, one at a time, instead of it, like, with one foot
right after the other, instead of just, like,
steps like a grandparent. But this couple, I asked them, the girl was like, the girlfriend was like, he would be nice to me and listen. And I was like, whoa. And it was funny because he was like in the bathroom or something.
Wasn't there for it.
And then he came back and then she went to the bathroom. I was like, yo, listen, she was
she was talking some crap.
So what is your answer? And he said something out of pocket too. And then they ended up leaving, like an argument. And in the middle, and Kat was like, hey. Like broke somebody up.
Yeah, you just made them break up now.
Brought it to light that they were already a problem.
He was an alien imposter. You saved her life. So
clearly not, because he was still treating her like crap. Two special episodes. So not necessarily like guest episodes, because we've had really cool guests who are like
Deb. She brings us a watermelon to our shows every time we have one.
Yeah,
it's pretty great.
We did David Cronenberg, and that was a wild ride. Yeah. And she has some really interesting, like, different thoughts. She's my coworker and a good friend, and I just adored having her on here.
We watched Hereditary at her house, and it was so scary.
It was scary.
Because her house is, like, kind of haunted.
Her house is haunted. It was haunted when we were there. We were there, and... like
pictures fell off the walls.
We pointed at a picture on the fridge, and it was a picture of her in front of a painting that her husband had made that painting was hanging in her living room. We pulled the picture from the fridge to say like, oh my god, this picture is so great, la la, and then we hear a smash. We go to the living room, that painting is on the ground.
Yep.
And she was like, great, the ghouls, like, haunted my house. And I was like, we didn't do this on purpose. I think you just
secretly have telekinetic powers.
And I didn't.
That you didn't know about.
I wish. But we had, like, really, intelligent, like, conversations but were also fun, like Pascal in our disabilities episode, which was so awesome. And Marina, they, like, you feel like you're validated when you have these people who, that's what they do, is they study that, and that they are impassioned about it. And we totally trash talked Midsummer. We've never done a whole episode that was just like a film, and we trashed Midsummer.
I was literally like, I've never felt so seen when both of them were like, yeah, no, that movie sounds like garbage.
Yeah.
Offensive out the Get Out. And I was like, oh my god.
Yes. But we had 2 special episodes. So during our New Year, New Me, we did a little switcheroo, and we had started the year with monstrous women, and we got real. And we were impassioned, and we were like, they've been treating us like crap forever. And then we were like, we also want to do monstrous men, because there's a dichotomy here. There's something that we need to explore, but we can't talk about men anymore. Or not in that way. And we can't speak from the experience of someone going through puberty as a male. They do different things.
Yeah.
And so we had our boyfriends, who are still our boyfriends. They were newly boyfriends at the time. So it's like super nice of them.
It was pretty nice.
And you've seen their face if you watch our YouTube videos. Yeah. So they were pretending to be us. Yeah. So Mike was me, and Isaiah was Kat.
Yeah.
And it was so funny when I wrote up a script for them where I was like, I just want you to cover these topics. Here's your watching, homework, and they had to watch Hemlock Grove, and I think, like, I was a teenage werewolf. Yep. And so I gave them, but I was like, but I want you, like, talk about your experiences, blah, blah, blah. And it was so awkward. It was hilarious. Like,
it was really
there's
fantastic.
So many pauses where they're just like, what do we do now?
What's funny is they both do podcasts otherwise.
Yeah, they're
so like it was so weird that they didn't.
Yes, they both do audio mediums before. So
Yeah.
like Mike records their D&D sessions, and he's got a great radio voice. So I was like, yeah, you could do it. And then Isaiah's a part of the Black Tribbles.
Yeah.
So he does it every week. Every week. That's where I met him. That's where we met both of them.
Yeah.
so on the radio, right? So it's just the cutest love story. But we had them on there. They were so awkward, but they were so committed, and they really played their roles well. Mike had listened to quite a few episodes before that, so throughout the episode, he would reference past episodes, and I was just like, oh my god, listen. And then Isaiah was great because he really committed to being Cat, so he purposefully would sniffle and make like nose noises
throughout the whole thing,
because that was like the highlight. That was like the thing that happened all throughout, and it still does. I'm
Not
sure
as much.
No. And committed to them just being us. Like, never once are they like, we're actually... It was like, I'm gay, but I'm Cat.
We're going to talk about nocturnal emissions. And we're going to do it.
As if this is Game and Cat talking about how they got armpit hair.
So...
and fluids everywhere.
Yep.
That's what it was. Fluids everywhere.
Oh, dear God.
The other... special guest episode is our 20th episode. So every time we like would celebrate, we would do something specific. So like now, so 10 was like our it was our favorite fears.
A long time ago.
And then we did first fears, and on that special episode, we interview our moms.
Yes.
And so you can hear on that episode Kat's mom talking about how Kat was traumatized as a child and the weird things she would get into.
Yeah. I was scared of weather.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have trust. And whenever I went over anyone's house, I needed to see all the rooms. So that I knew where all the people were. And so I knew anything that could happen there. I knew what was going to happen.
You can also hear my mom, who is from Boston, and you can hear that very clearly. And she listened to it so many times when I sent it to her, and she was like, I just keep listening. I sound so Boston. She's so cute. She's like, it's wicked crazy. And I was like, all right, Mom, calm down. And so you can hear about how my family traumatized me my whole life because they think it's funny.
Yeah. Now we tortured you, kids.
Yeah, she was like, you were like 2 when we like spooked you.
And we made you better.
Say that. We did say that, thanks to them, we are as cool as we are. But they left us, at the end of each one of their interviews with us, they kind of told us how they feel. And this was episode 20. Like, we had just done our first live show, and we were just brand new. We didn't know what we were doing. But they are the best moms. So here it is.
And listen, I'm so proud of you kids. I'm so glad you guys are really going for this and already, in such a short time made such a big name for yourself. I'm one of the proudest moms next door you'll ever meet.
I think it is so awesome that you're taking this to just and expanding it in all these different ways, and that people are listening to it, following it, and I just think it's amazing. And I am also the proudest mom next door.
That's so cute.
So they can't both be the proudest mom next door, so they gotta fight to see who is the proudest mom next door. No, don't fight, guys. It would be really scary. Nothing on my mom. I feel like Gabe's mom would win. I just feel like
I wouldn't fight my mom.
I think she's got more scrappiness to her. Yeah. I don't know.
There's a lot to say about our show.
We've done so much.
I think we learned a lot. We learned, and I think it's something we're still continually learning, is how to balance education and entertainment.
Yeah.
Because I think we started out and it was a lot of entertainment heavy things where we're just kind of goofing off.
Yeah. Or we were learning, but it was mostly just us having fun.
Yeah.
And thinking we're really funny.
Yeah.
And then we kind of tweaked it and developed it so that we're really trying to tell you some stuff.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that gets real heavy.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh my God.
And then we get kind of sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were like the few times we tried to do heavy episodes, because like the exorcism one was really heavy. I wanted to make sure we were very conscious and like attentive to this real issue, because like real people had died. And then when we did the children one, I was like, oh, we gotta do this. And then like slowly, like when we got to monstrous women and like the different ways sex played a role in horror, both on screen and in real life, really, that I feel like we kind of got a strive of like how we can balance that, because we kind of allow ourselves to, like, when we're in our facts section, to really dive in to our facts and just be like, this is it. And then for our films, being like, we can goof off because this is not real. You know, like we can have fun. And also like, you know, the subjects themselves, like some of the absurdity of the world that we live in means that like sometimes you have to laugh or you'd cry.
And it's funny because it's like, I don't know, we were asking ourselves like when the media analysis goggles thing came up, but I honestly think like it had to have been like at least a little bit later, because then I think that's when we kind of fine-tuned ourselves too, because honestly it was, I feel like it was near when we started to get our stuff together, New Year, New Me, but when we did the Contracted It Follows episode,
I think so too,
because we were just like, don't do a thing if it's not on purpose. And then we looked at ourselves and we're like, oh,
we need to do it on purpose.
Don't do a thing unless we do it on purpose. We need to be mindful. Go back through all of our episodes, make sure we're doing it okay. Do we say something no, fix it, be better. Better people. And we worked on that, and I think we've been trying to be like significantly more intentional and like better with it. And thank you for dealing with our really sad episodes and staying around for our weird wacky ones where I'm an alien for some reason.
It's so funny that you say, because I do think it was our Sex Happened episode, which I think is one of our best, because it was very heavy. And we were like, this is absurd. The whole world is absurd. And we were just like dealing with it. And it's funny because it is, I would say, one of our top favorite films ever in the horror genre, and the worst horror film ever that we loathe in the same episode. So it was like going from like, this is how you do it right, and this is how you do it wrong. And if you want to hear me go on a tangent about how you don't put maggots in a vagina unless it's going to mean something, then you need to watch that or listen to that episode. I think like, we got our stride. I also enjoyed like when we moved into February, or was it not February, when we started doing, we did Stalkers and we did Body Mod. Oh, that was New Year, New Me.
That was New Year,
We did Body Modification. We did social media. And so we were like, we moved away from like just horror as a genre and just like the cliches that people hear about, and not just like what, you know, our phobias and what is like a movie. It was more about like the real world and what's horrific and how we've seen it on screen. Like we just totally flipped the way that we were looking at things. And so when we approach like Body Modification and social media and Stalkers, it was like this different like, so I think like that allowed us to kind of like see a full picture and really expand like what we're covering. And so like we work really hard now to let people know what we do.
And it was when we switched to media analysis, I think, less than just horror analysis.
So, I mean, we kind of did that with our apocalypse scenarios, which has one of the best skits from Kat, and I'll play that as well. But that is, you know, where we were like science fiction also has a lot of horrific things, because it's a way of showing the world and reflecting the fears that our society had at the time. And we were like, whoa, this is exactly what we want to do. So
like,
we didn't
what
want to
if
be
this now?
We didn't want to be limited anymore to just like slashers or like the horror genre in that degree. Not to say that like there are lots of gems and we still find them. But it's more of like, you know, we're allowing ourselves to eat. Like we just did one on Stepford Wives. Which, like, the new one wasn't a horror movie. It was a comedy, but it is horrific. So it's like we were, like, you know, we wouldn't have done that when we started because we weren't really seeing ourselves as that.
We're like, it has to be a horror film. That's the whole thing.
And I think, like, by doing that, we really kind of grew and allowed ourselves to to actually focus more on topics than on films or the media.
Yeah.
I will play kind of as our last like skit.
It's like Big Bang
Made a Big Bang made us.
Oh no,
Big
this
Crunch
isn't it.
eat us.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, that was a mistake.
My bad. Like rewind.
Yeah. We're a VHS tape in the little blip of universe times that God just takes out.
like,
It's just
oops.
like, well, we'll try again.
I don't know
New
what
one.
I was thinking. Oops.
Yeah, so it's like Futurama where he's just like sitting in his little blippity bloops in the sky.
Yeah.
And, but he has a VHS tape in this scenario.
Okay.
And he's watching humanity and he's like, guys, this is awful.
Let's start back at the top.
We are not going to renew this season. Let's start
Of humanity.
fresh. There's no season 3 of humanity.
Oh no.
And then it's like, and he takes it out and he's like, people. And he writes it on there with a Sharpie and he puts it on the shelf next to other species. And he was just like, that might work. And, he pops into it and he's like, you know what? We're gonna start fresh.
And maybe the blue blurbs will do better than us.
Yes.
Or whatever he
The
comes up
schmeckles.
with. The schmeckles. The schmeemels.
Yep.
Or the...
That part specifically.
Because it's like how rude of us to think it would be like a sound we would know, like whatever they're called.
Yeah. It's like we don't have the language of this hypothetical society.
Yeah, that was like...
We're not gonna speak English, rude.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was good.
Yeah.
You're right, I did know. I just forgot.
I told you. Yeah, there's like, we have some of our favorites, and you can, if you follow us on Instagram, I tend to post them on there so that people can like clips to kind of highlight an episode, just like weird things. Like they're not always like relevant.
Sometimes
specific.
they're just real weird times that we had that we think are hilarious.
Other highlights is that we got better interludes.
Yes.
If
Oh my
you
god.
ever listen to our original ones, it's just us whispering. Like, scary,
It's
scary,
the
scary.
worst thing in the entire world.
Or we used to have like a sound, like a interlude sound, but we would put over it clips from when we would watch the films. We would record audio of us like ranting or talking to the screen as if we were riff tracks or Mystery Science Theater, and then I would put those on there, and it was bad.
And it was also like so much work for you.
Yeah.
Because you had to
I
like
had to
re-listen to us watch a film. And it was like, why did you do that?
I don't know. It didn't
We
last
thought it
too
was
long.
cool,
And then
yeah.
Kat made the cool interludes, which are like one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love all the times
Let's
that
talk
we...
about feelings.
Okay. Our live shows love that. And I also just love our songs, like our spontaneous songs that we would always have.
Ghouls next door with we are gonna go again. Bad boy snakes and good guy Bigfoot. No one has to be alive. Ghouls next door.
No, so the reason I remember why I used to sing it all the time is because Isaiah does not want me to finish the Cthulhu chant.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just sing it all the time because I thought it was funny because I'd be like, feet glued, and be like, no!
Yeah.
And I'd be like, sweet, babe.
It's not real.
Cthulhu's not real, it's fine.
It's not real, Isaiah.
He's not going to come for you.
Yeah, if you don't know, there's a Cthulhu chant in the middle of that. Yeah, things that we've learned. One, the real treasure is the friends we found along the way.
Yes.
Which is all our guests. And
Yeah.
so yeah, definitely check out any of our guest episodes.
Yeah,
We
they're
have
fun.
amazing ones. All the Tribbles,
That
any
was
friends
fun.
that we
Kennedy.
can drag in. Kennedy was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Our anime episode with Isaiah.
Yeah.
Any of our newer ones. So when we did representation, we had a lot of cool guests.
Yeah.
And different people that we never would have imagined.
was a good
that
time.
fostered some friendships, and it was just. Yeah, it was a good time. We brought Sergio back on.
Yeah.
And I think we'll have way more in the future. And I think for the future, I see us just more.
Yeah. I agree. I honestly, I'll go for it. I figured eventually we'd be like, all right, this is a lot.
Sometimes I feel it. This is a lot now.
Same. But I definitely was like, all right, there's gonna be a time where it's like, Gabe's just like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do so much work.
When we do it, leading up to it, we get really exhausted.
Yeah.
We're watching things and we're like, oh, okay, we gotta do it. It's like homework.
Yeah.
But then we get here and we record and we get to talk to each other and goof off. And I think that part is super fun. And I enjoy, learning those things. I enjoy having an excuse to learn. I guess I'm a nerd. And, I just get excited whenever, when we did Parasite and Bong Joon-ho and did, classism, I was just like, oh, this is great. And that whole series that we just did, we just came out of
was my favorite.
Was awesome. And it was so real, and it made me feel like we were validated. For all the hard work that we've done, and that we are right in doing this medium, and that having people listen to us, because I think we're fun and we're also educational. And I think my hopes for this year is one, when we're no longer isolated, we're allowed to go outside. That we can create more short films.
Yeah.
Maybe even create some serious ones, or longer ones that we can put in the film circuit. And also pump up our social media. If you're following us on social media, remember we did a crazy campaign for Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
There's a lot of these skits.
Oh, found footage skits.
I found this photo that we took that we burnt in because that's what happens to Katie in Paranormal Activity. So we did a whole. It was stupid. No one was watching. There was 3 people. One fan who's still here who loved it, and that was it. Our moms, but and I think we've grown, and going from our first live show, which had a pretty good audience for a lot of it was people we begged, right? But there's also quite a few that we were like, who are these strangers, right? They just wandered in, to our last live show, which was packed.
It was so weird,
and with people that we didn't even know, and that was twice, because we also had one right before that for the Philadelphia Podcast Festival, and that was super packed, and I didn't even put in work for that. And people were tagging us on social media, being I get to go see the Ghouls, and I was like,
who are you? Why do you
who's
know
this
who
person? And it just makes my day when we see comments or emails from people just talking, wanting to talk to us about what we were discussing or found, and wanting to know more, or just getting excited.
Well, just because we do a lot of work, and it's we love it. And it's definitely a grind. You know what I mean? It's a grind. It's a Stardew Valley. You gotta water the crops every day. You gotta go on the mines. You gotta put in work.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
You get
the cool rewards and little cutscenes where you find love.
Yeah.
And it's great.
The flower dance.
Yeah. But they actually dance with you.
Yes.
It's
You're not just standing there like a weirdo.
Great time. But yeah, it's just
you get cookie, you get cookie. You
give cookie, you get cookie. And it's we put a lot of work, and it's a lot of fun. And I agree with you. The lead up is always just all right, what do we gotta do? And it's all right, I'm gonna read all these books until my eyes hurt. And but then we come down here and we do it. I'm oh, we're so smart. I feel rejuvenated. I want to run in the streets and scream, but we can't.
And when we get excited, we have a cool quote or stuff backing us up, and we're we're not crazy.
We're smart.
There's scientific evidence to back us up. Or really especially I would love the fact that we're doing this on YouTube. I don't know if people like this episode, but
I mean, we've been dressing up from day one.
The fact that we get to do it on screen, and I love messing around with some of the because we've always since honestly, since day one, done little weird skits. Like I didn't even mention our haunted house episode.
That was
has an
so
entire
underrated,
skit where
so great.
We go to our haunted basement and Kat gets possessed. It's like kind of weird after that.
Maniacally laughing, talking about how the world needs to be clean.
Yeah, because we had a ghost that we had referred to in our first episodes, which are like not there anymore, so it's kind of weird. But we would do these like hardcore skits all the time. Like we really invested in whatever topic we were doing, and now we can do that visually, and I think that's super fun. And so like the fact that we get to dress up and the reason we did it the first time was that we were tired, and I knew we were never gonna do it unless we just did it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, why don't we just like dress up like clowns and get silly?
Yeah.
And so then we did, and it really helped because we were like, we just had a good time. And so since then we continue to have a good time. And I'm not going to say that some of it isn't hard, that sometimes we're not tired and some of the episodes suffer for it. But I think the majority of them are really good.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember them fondly. It's literally, so when you're a kid, you're a middle schooler. You know, middle schoolers are cranky.
Yeah.
And like your grandparent drags you to the art museum and you're like, I don't want to go outside to the art museum. Meh.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I want to stay home and play video games.
Yes.
And then you get older.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, I loved going to the art museum when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then you like talk to your grandparent and they're like, you hated going. What do you mean? And I was like, but I loved it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite memory. That's how I feel about like every.
But you were just miserable when it was happening. Yeah.
I don't know if we're like just miserable to the lead up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're cranky till we get there and then we're like, oh yeah, this is what the thing we love. But then it's like
you don't want to
admit
it because you're in it, you know, because you get pride as a middle schooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, and I think like.
I don't know why that's the story, but we're here.
Yeah, I love that we're always committed, and I loved all 100 episodes with you, Kat. It's actually kind of like, I feel like more than 100, because we do 2 parts sometimes. We did 50, was 2 episodes. So, I'm just saying, we might have already done 100, like, 3 episodes ago.
But it's okay.
And I look forward to 100 more.
Yo, facts.
Yeah, I think there's
I don't think we're ever going to run out of things.
No, the world's horrific.
The world sucks. And
we're
in a pandemic. We did a whole episode about pandemics.
Yeah.
And we're in that now.
Yeah, and
we're literally there.
Oops. Sorry we covered that last year. We didn't know.
We were predicting it.
Yeah, but now people are like, this is twice now.
I really don't want God to do the blip loops in the sky, and I'm not there yet.
Yeah. And then, RIP to our first episode, which is gone now. But thanks to that episode, we got our sign off.
Yeah.
Which is
Don't get married. Delete your kids.
That's 100. It's like so sad.
Why?
Because it's just like bittersweet.
It's just, why?
I don't know.
Because we die tomorrow? Like, what's happening?
No.
Gabe, did you have a plan? I don't understand.
Because it's like a lot. Like, we did a lot.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you on 101. Kat gets really weird. Kat's going to be really weird next week. So,
you're welcome.
And then it just keeps getting weird. So here's to more little clips that we'll have, because we'll be delirious.
Just more weird.
And doing
Let's
stuff.
go.
And more education and more spooky stuff. And more live shows when we're allowed to go outside.
Yeah. 100%.
All right.